Good morning, video games. Welcome once again to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and also extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tommy Dasilo. With me, as always...
G'day, Tommy. Fan favourite Ben Vanel here. A pleasure and an honour, as always, to join you on our podcast, Filthy Casuals.
Thank you. That means a lot. Bit of respect.
Yeah, finally.
For once in your damn life.
Yeah, a man who knows no respect for anyone or anything.
I'm punk cross with ska, so I'm slightly more punky ska, which is already a little punky.
Yes.
But it's just punk, but there's one trumpet,
Yes.
and I wear a bad hat.
Yeah.
That's how bad my attitude
And
is.
your shorts have a checkerboard hem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got they're half length. They're not quite 3/4.
Yes.
But they're not quite regular.
Yeah.
They're just below the knee, I guess. They're just slightly too big for me. My name is Billy Joe Armstrong.
Okay.
Billy
Just
Joe,
the singer.
Billy Joe Armstrong?
No, I thought there was a pun, but then my brain stopped working. And you know what? Who cares? Because here's fan genuinely gets reviews saying stop doing puns. Favorite. Me, Adam Knox.
It's, well, I looked at our reviews this week and I
You
shouldn't
love
have.
it. You're a
dumb.
glutton
It's
for
really
punishment.
dumb.
You love it.
And obviously the bad ones are the small minority.
It's
Yeah.
one
Tiny
thing
minority.
to look up and punish yourself, but then you often post these publicly so that I'm
So,
scrolling
yeah,
through
we're
Twitter. I'm
punished
like,
as well.
oh, a rude thing someone said about me that my friend has posted on Twitter.
A thing I normally deliberately try and avoid. Fuck me, I guess. One of the bad reviews we got once was because we said that possibly the depiction of Barrett in Final Fantasy VII is slightly racist.
Yeah, I remember
So
this
here
one.
comes another bad review.
Oh, God. But that person misunderstood. They thought we were being racist about Barrett.
No, I don't think they did.
Really?
I think they were mad because we said that Barrett was racist. I don't know if they knew that we meant that the way the character is portrayed, it uses certain racial stereotypes that are heavily prevalent in Japanese media in particular. So who's racist now? It's me. Or if we were saying that Barrett, the character himself, is a racist. And if we thought that, then maybe. But who cares? Reviews are good. Go leave us.
Yeah,
leave us a 5-star review.
Please give us a 5-star review. It
Yeah.
heavily impacts our visibility on iTunes. We
SEO
appreciate it.
is an important thing. That stands for
Sucky.
say everything.
All right.
And then a word for O that's positively.
Orgasm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Someone's
Say-
horny today.
Say everything orgasm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy. Oh, God. What's next? What do we got this week? That's all that happens to me when I orgasm is my
Boy,
voice cracks
people
a bit.
begging for a pun after they heard that one.
I guess you're about to start crying, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I can't have an orgasm because I'm
Sure.
too nervous.
Yes.
Okay, we've got to follow up on something from last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to say, at the start of this episode, obviously you can tell by the description of this episode that this is something we've probably been looking forward to for a long time. Me,
Yeah.
especially. This is an episode that covers a topic that I'm passionate about.
Just-
I've talked about many times before.
I know you're doing a run-up here, but it's important to point out to everyone, go read the episode title so that you know what different thing than what Ben's about to say he's referring to. He's trying to build up expectations to.
Now, let's give this another 10 minutes. What were you saying?
Oh, God.
You
I
cleared
don't
your
have the
shit.
energy.
Just
Cleared
keep in
your
mind the
schedule.
thing that he's definitely not going to be building up to.
You cleared
which
your
is the
schedule.
episode.
Something you're very, something that long-time listeners will know is near and dear to your heart.
I think the engine has
It's been
just,
done once in the past,
has just sputtered to...
but it's being
stop.
revisited. Maybe one time a week ago, maybe longer. It was already
Sure, within maybe a week, maybe longer.
20 plus years.
Maybe, yeah.
And lots about it has changed, but one thing remains the same. The racism. That hasn't changed at all.
We're going to assign a race to each one of these sparkling water flavors and finally decide which one is the best.
So last week we got into a heated dispute about favorite brands of flavored sparkling water.
Yes.
Now I just threw out what I thought was an innocent recommendation. You were talking about a sparkling water that you had, Ben, and I said
Yes.
you should try this one. It's great. And then you said, I had one that I hated the other day, and it was that exact one.
It was.
Which absolutely knocked my socks off.
It really did, yeah.
And so we decided that on this episode, we had, sitting in the middle of us, we had a man who had tried neither of these brands of flavoured sparkling water.
I don't
Adam
know if
Knox.
that's true. I think I've
Right.
had them in the past,
Oh,
but
okay.
I can't recall
You don't have a
flavour.
horse in the
Yeah.
race, though.
No, exactly. Yeah, I'm an impartial adjudicator here.
Yeah.
That's all that my only role isn't to bring any past experience into this as bias. It's just to purely on their efforts on the day,
Yes.
assess these waters and see which one I prefer based on several factors.
Okay. Will you be revealing?
Fizz.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Flavor,
Yep.
Yep.
mouthfeel,
Sure.
which
Is this...
that's the secret sauce.
Yes.
Only I know quite what goes into
Yeah,
mouthfeel.
yeah, that's true.
This one has heaps of blisters in my mouth. This one makes my teeth feel unbrushed and loose. I look like a scurvy pirate if you've never seen me in real life.
Yes.
So fizz, flavor, mouthfeel,
And whether the glove fits or not.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. If it doesn't, then my decision is made for me.
Now, that all sounds pretty straightforward.
So the brand that I'm writing for, Waterford's light and fruity Tahitian lime flavour.
Right.
And the brand that you're backing,
Is the Frantel, I believe it's lemon and lime flavored sparkling water.
right.
Okay, because Tommy's is cold. We're at his house, so we're going with the Waterfords first.
Yeah,
Well, let me
yeah.
also quickly point out something that I realised after last week's episode.
Yeah, I was going to say, Smash Cut 2, a huge
Bombshell.
wrinkle in this entire activity that we're partaking in.
Bombshell revelation. So I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of the Waterfords. Typically, up until a certain point, exclusively buy it in the, what is that, 1.25 litre bottle
You're looking
from
at
the
just
supermarket?
1 litre there.
One
Just
You've
one
straight
litre.
litre.
Wow.
been
Yeah.
conned by
Yeah.
the advertising.
1 litre even.
So then I was out a little while ago. I was in a milk bar and I saw that they had a little mini, like a little, I guess 350 ml, just a single serving. And I thought, great,
In a bottle or a can?
bottle. And I thought I can get this on the go.
Yep.
Now I got it and I was
1 litre.
flabbergasted.
I'd need a pack donkey to carry 1 litre of liquid. But
I got the single serve variety and blow me down if it isn't 8 times the strength in flavour
Yep.
of what you see the 1 litre. So these cunts down at Waterfords, they're changing up the amount of flavour
Yep.
that is in just a different sized bottle. Unheard of.
they were both definitely Tahitian lime.
Yep.
Okay.
Exact same label, exact same everything.
Yep.
That's a very mild, nice flavour. That other one tasted like Solo or something. So
Yeah.
sweet and so strong.
A sweet, cordial sort of situation. Yeah.
So I thought, when you were saying you found that too strong, I thought, this little fucking baby doesn't know what he's on about.
Right.
I had forgotten that story. I was reminded by my girlfriend about the smaller variety.
Yeah. So, which one do you think I've had, Adam?
Yours was the, I don't know, the Frantel.
No. Which version of the Waterfords?
Oh,
do
you had
think-
the small bottle.
I had a can of Waterfords.
Right.
Yeah, I had a can.
So a can even smaller than a bottle, perhaps even
Oh,
stronger.
it's even stronger
Probably,
still.
yeah.
If they've just got
Wow.
the one machine spitting out the flavor juice
Yeah.
in the same quantity into every bottle.
Interesting.
So essentially, my whole argument is null and void. I probably am going to enjoy this Waterford's Tahitian lime bottle.
Well,
version.
to test that, we've got a second glass here.
Yeah.
There is
And
a
a
second.
Yeah.
Shout out to any gamers for whom this is the first episode of this they've ever listened to.
Yeah, maybe a big Final Fantasy VII fan, something that we haven't mentioned yet.
Well, then, you know what? This is a potion. then.
Yes.
We're drinking
Great.
ether.
Yeah.
We're going to
are.
compare Ben's ether to Tommy's potion
Yes.
and see which of them is the better item.
Yeah.
Well, to kick this off, first of all, Ben, I think you should have a little sip of the Waterfords,
I agree.
just to see what I've been harping on about.
Can I open it with one hand? No.
I actually
think you
don't think
can.
you can. I think you probably.
Oh, I'm not
I think
strong
this
Put
is
the
a
microphone down, I
think you're
reckon.
better off putting the microphone down, if anything. So
I'm going to first open it all at once. What are you doing?
I don't want it to fizz over.
That slow open infuriated me for some reason.
I don't think sparkling water is capable of fizzing over.
No. All right.
All right.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to pour myself.
Pour
Just a
yourself-
little sippy?
Just a snifter.
Do you want a sipping amount? Like the amount they would pour in wine to sip it, I guess?
Probably. Is that? That's about
Oh,
right.
come on, mate. There's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
Pour yourself a little more than
that's
that.
enough
that's
to
what you
taste.
want.
You're going to
Yeah.
enjoy it. You'll be back. You'll be back
reckon?
for seconds. I
am
guarantee
parched.
it.
All right, here I go.
Here we go.
I'm really nervous about this.
that
for
it's
some
going to be
reason.
that this has been a con and it is as strong as the one in the bottle.
Okay, I've given it a sniff.
Yep.
A little bit of lime, a little hint of lime, certainly.
Mm-hmm. What about a region that the lime comes from? Do you care to?
It's
Hazard
an
guessed at
island
that.
nation, perhaps. Yeah, somewhere in the Pacific.
Do you want like a little bucket to spit it into? Like this is a wine tasting.
Yeah. If I don't like it, I'll just
Open your
spit
mouth,
it.
Tommy.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to taste
Go
it.
in. Just go in. Just have a big old gulp. There you go. Right down the hatch.
Welcome to our ASMR podcast where you hear Ben's drinking noises.
It's certainly still stronger than the Frantel, I believe.
Interesting. Very
It's-
interesting.
It is nowhere near as strong as the can.
I mean that I can definitely. So Knox is going in.
Knox has gone in.
I don't know, it's sparkling water.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay, here's my rankings. Fizz, yeah, a little bit, not heaps.
Honestly, it's a little
Flavor,
a
yeah,
little
bit,
not
heaps.
fizzy, I reckon.
You got mouthfeel, yeah, a little bit, not heaps. And that's my ranking. A little bit, not heaps.
We didn't hear about flavour.
Yeah, I said a little bit.
Little bit of flavour.
Oh, a little bit of
Not
flavour.
heaps, though.
Okay.
Not heaps.
Right.
I'm ready to do the second bottle.
All right,
All
I'll
right,
get it from the freezer.
Ben, go and get the second. Go and get the Frantel from the from my freezer. I got to clean out that freezer.
What was it? It looked like a head?
Yeah, it
Was that a human head in there?
head in Tommy's freezer.
That's why I said I got to clean it out.
Oh, right.
Now, very vibey label, and he's gone straight for the
He
can.
has gone straight in.
Yeah, it tastes the same. There's in terms of fizz, there's a
Can you
little
pour me a little bit? I'm a big fan of it.
A little bit of fizz.
You
not-
might have heard
not heaps.
on a podcast.
In terms of flavour, you got a little bit, not heaps. Mouthfeel, yeah, it's there a little bit, not heaps though. Tastes like sparkling water.
Yeah.
All right, that was fun. That was a good segment.
So, boy, that coronavirus is wreaking havoc on all corners of the globe.
If you ran out of toilet paper, then we've served you up some utter shit to just make things a little bit worse.
Wait, why did you bring in? You've got a San Pellegrino and a Red Bull, which you put down on the table before we
Yeah.
started recording, as if they were part of some kind of control that you were going to do.
No,
This
San
experiment.
Pellegrino is just good neutral sparkling water.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Red Bull's because I was tired.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No further
I
questions.
put down a phone as
Tommy,
well.
do
Do
you
you
wanna
want to know what that
taste-
was to do with
Yeah,
it?
go on. What's
Nothing.
that got to do with anything?
Tommy, you have a taste of the Frantel. I'm
Okay,
curious to.
yeah,
The
okay.
Waterfords is
See what
stronger
you
than the
think.
Frantel.
It is, yeah.
The Frantel, it doesn't have enough
Oh,
flavour
my
to be good.
God. The Frantel is incredibly mild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It doesn't taste like, when there's like a restaurant like 2 blocks away? That's the Frantel. Like, I think there's curry
Oh,
somewhere.
right.
It's like my car park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But then the Waterfords is like, there's curry near-ish.
Right. So the Frantel is like, you're in my car park,
Yeah.
and then the Waterford
Tommy
is
lives
like,
near an Indian restaurant, by
I
the way.
share a
That's-
car
Yes.
park. My building shares a car park with an Indian restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Fratel is, I'm in the car park, and then the Waterfords is, I've just stepped in the front door.
It's like a 4-step difference.
The bottle
All
of water,
sparkling. This is pointless.
the
All
smaller,
sparkling water. The point of it is that it tastes mild.
the smaller bottle of Waterfords is like, I'm in the fucking kitchen.
No.
Yeah. No, you haven't had the small
And I
bo-
doubt
water
that it
bottle.
tastes strong.
It tastes like cordial, like fizzy cordial.
It is. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Week 3, boys. We're bringing it back.
This isn't spilling
Yes.
over any further.
Yes.
All right. We do actually have a lot of
Yeah.
gaming-related action
Heaps this
to
week.
talk about
Yeah.
for you folks this week. Well, you know what? We've just reviewed. You've given us your soft drink review. How
Yeah.
about a review from the great man Adam Knox of another product that exists that's similar in purpose to what you're sitting on right now, but in terms of cost and in
It's-
terms of sturdiness,
In terms of appearance,
in terms of appearance.
Yep.
quite more ostentatious.
I bought a gimp. I sit now on a crouched man who has to do my bidding.
Yep.
But he wants to.
Yeah.
No, I bought a I can't even get it out. It's like being at fucking like doing therapy or something. I'm being really close to getting to like the breakthrough point because I know what to say, but my body won't let me.
Yes.
Point on the catalogue to what you bought.
I bought a gaming chair.
Well, we're all very
Oh,
proud of
yeah.
you, Adam.
Thank you.
No, that was hard to say.
Real breakthrough today.
Yeah.
My parents were gaming chairs, and so I think it all started there. No, I bought a so it's from a company called Secret Lab or Secret Labs.
Yeah, because you should not tell anyone about it.
Quiet. Don't let anybody know about the lab.
Yep.
What are they cooking up in this lab?
Gaming chairs, my friend.
That's all it is?
Comfy, sturdy gaming chairs.
So
I've had this thing for a few weeks now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I wanted to wait until talking about it because you've got to, you can't get the measure of a chair within a few minutes.
Yeah.
So it's the one that I have. They've got a range of them. They're all very similar, but they're basically for different heights and weights of people.
Yeah.
The one I have
It's different brands of energy drink decals is the differentiation, I believe.
Well, in normal gaming chairs, in terms of appearance, but these ones look a little for the type of market that you're looking at. It is a lot more restrained, or there is the option to be a lot more restrained than the fucking F1 lift-out car that they generally look like. And I hate that look.
They're the classier alternative.
Almost. If Frasier was a gamer.
Yeah, a gentleman's gaming chair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Little monocle holder in the side.
You don't need... If anything other than the power of your squinting eye is holding your monocle, then you, sir, are not a Frasier. It's the Titan is the one that I have, and my one big problem with it is that it says stitched into the back of I got the cookies and cream color. Yeah, which is just like grey. It says it's got the word Titan written there, which I really don't like.
Lovely stuff.
Yeah.
So anyone who tries to sneak up behind you while you're gaming, they're in for a real treat.
No, hey. Leave him alone. That's the Titan. If we make that chair turn around, fucking Liam Neeson or whoever is in that movie is going to be in it.
So do you know what the other models are all called? Because I would
Omega.
almost be tempted to base my purchase of a chair around what was going to be stitched
printed
into
on
the
it.
back.
I think they're all
agreed.
ancient Greek type stuff.
Okay.
So there's Omega.
Oh, okay.
There's Titan. There's like Titan XL, that ancient Greek
The Greeks
measurement.
invented gaming chairs. The Italians added women to them.
And
That's a very good joke.
Fucking hell, that is great shit.
if you didn't get that one, whip out your dad's joke book and you'll figure it out. The small one is called the Throne.
Okay.
There's the Throne, the Omega is medium, the Titan is large, and then the Titan XL is even bigger than the one I got, believe it or not. It has on the website a thing where you put your height and your weight in, and it'll say, hey, you should get this one.
Yep.
It's very, very comfy.
Yes.
I got that. You've both sat in it.
Well,
as
this is
say,
the scoop.
Yeah.
We were at your house the other day,
Yeah.
and lo and behold, if Lord Titan himself
If the
didn't
clouds did part, down from the corner of my room strode the Titan.
we were both invited for an exclusive little sit,
The Titan does not invite, it beckons.
and our review, in spite of being. I mean, we didn't know this at the time, but by all accounts, from everything you've read out from these descriptions, in spite of being just woefully too small for the Titan. Not for us at all.
Yeah.
I dare say if we put our height and weight in, we would be forbidden from purchasing a Titan.
Yeah. You are too short to ride this chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to put your heights and
Yeah,
weights
yeah.
in and see what you've got
Yeah.
to get? We'll do it in a second, but keep that thought going.
So, yeah, we both sat in it. Where Tommy and I are both like, 5'7", 5'8". You're 6 foot, Knox?
What is... I'm like 6'2".
Right. I was extremely comfortable. I thought it was built for me to sit in. It was that comfortable.
My feet were dangling off the side. I had my little security blanket with me.
That happens to me whenever I sit on any chair, to be honest.
I would think that what you would want is the chair to be a bit more cushioned, a bit more softer. But
Pauper's mistake.
sitting
The
in
Titan
this thing,
would make no such error.
sitting in this thing,
Yeah.
this feels great.
Yeah.
Blow me down if it didn't feel actually great.
So you've got to get the main one is leather. The base one is like a fake leather.
Right.
There's a real leather, and then the one I have is called soft weave fabric.
That was delightful.
It's much nicer.
Yeah.
You got to worry about stains and whatever, I guess, but be careful.
Yeah.
Good advice.
So it's it's fabric. It's like a cow or whatever.
Sure, it's polyester, some
kind of fucking
yeah.
thing, and it definitely feels really good.
Yeah.
The firmness that you're talking about is fantastic because like a comfy chair to sit in immediately, it has a softer cushion, but then it gets very uncomfortable over time because the padding falls away, or you just get it lets you sink in too much, so blood flow gets cut off from bits if you're sitting for like a couple of hours.
Sure, it probably affects your posture negatively. Yeah.
This one you can adjust so much shit on it. There's like a little neck pillow thing. It's very adjustable in terms of the arm height and width and the height of the chair off the ground, the amount you want it to lean back or not. Like the base can tilt back and then the back can tilt back depending on how you sit.
That's got to be great for your back.
Lumbar support thing. And that's the whole point is that if you're sitting there doing shit like gaming for hours at a time, what would you estimate your weights to be? You're about the same height and about the same weight, I would guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't.
I think
you can even type it in if you want.
Is it in
kilograms?
Kilograms in centimeters?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done 172 centimeters. That's about 6'8", I think.
5'8".
5'8", sorry. Yeah, 6'8" is crazy. Or normal for some. It depends on your height. Be weird for you if you were suddenly 6'8", is my point.
I haven't weighed myself in years. What?
Give us a rough.
Well, I think I'm about 5'9",
right.
5'8", 5'9",
Yeah.
and I weigh about 62 kilograms.
All right. I'm going to throw in 65.
Hang on.
Just cause.
Can't.
What, you might have shit in your pockets? I'm just going to put
boots
in...
on, maybe?
Yeah, I might sit in this chair with a cat perched upon my lap.
Yeah.
It's giving you... So, okay.
Can I get... it's got to be the Omega, right?
Yeah, it's the medium.
Yeah.
You're a couple of medium boys. It's for 160 to 180 centimeters and less than 110 kilos.
It roughly equates to the size of clothes you wear.
Yes. That makes sense. If they had a 3 XXL chair, then I would be.
I was giving you a large,
Knox.
I was giving you a large.
You know what? I don't want. This is a factual podcast, but yeah. So anyway. You can go in there and you can put your things in. From sitting in this one for a few weeks, they're not cheap. So when I'm about to say I recommend it, you keep that in mind. I got mine on a sale.
Can you tell us how much yours cost?
You're looking at upwards of $500 Australian.
For a very good chair, that's not crazy.
It isn't crazy.
I've paid around that for a dining chair.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You don't dine as often as you game.
That's
if
very
you're anything like me.
So
hey, frequently you're dining while you're gaming. So
that's the dream. You get yourself a blender and you get yourself one of those beer hats that you can drink out of a straw, and then you can do both. But I think it is a great chair. I'm really, really happy with it.
It looks really nice, despite it having Titan printed in it. That grey and the fabric and the texture, it looks nice.
It's a classy item.
It is.
Feels very nice too. Everything feels solid and chunky, and like you can adjust it and move it around without worrying about it wearing out. They give you some extra stuff if you like. It comes with things of saying like, hey, post it on social media and you get an extended warranty, and like send this link to a friend and you get $50 off in your next one or whatever.
Oh, they'll be
I haven't
with this.
done any of that. Well, I haven't spoken to them. This is completely, I didn't get sent the chair or anything.
Yeah.
This is a review out of the kindness of my own heart.
We rarely get free stuff, we should say.
Yeah.
We pretty much buy 90% of the stuff we review.
All of our opinions are honest.
Yep.
If we could get sponsored by Waterfords and this chair company, that'd be heaven.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't notice I actually didn't notice the Titan stitched into the back of it, I have to say. I think I was distracted by the fact that the chair was very close to the biggest box of Sultana brand I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. We went to Costco. You get things that are bigger than you mean to because everything looks to scale in a Costco. So you don't realize how much fucking Sultana brand you're getting. How sick of it you'll be after one bowl.
That's so funny. In a huge building, like I guess this is just a really, really tiny box once I get it home.
I mean, I didn't think it was small, but I didn't think it was like enough for a school camp for a week.
I was looking at the Sultana brand and the chair, and it wasn't until Tommy walked past
pair of Titans
that I realized, that's much too large.
Perspective helped you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, great chair.
Yeah,
if you're in the market for one, I think it's very, very good.
I just have one more question about it. Do they make them for men?
Very funny. You guys have rated Dad's joke book this week.
This podcast has gone full dad mode for the week.
Yes.
Well, boys, we're halfway through the episode, and so far all we've done is talk about a drink and a seat.
Fuck. Should we do some news then, I guess?
Sure. GDC got cancelled.
Yes.
Yeah. There you
The
go. How's
Games
that for a
Developer
conference?
Conference.
Yeah, there's your fucking hard-hitting news for you, Tommy.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
baby.
Won't find that in your dad's joke book yet, but I'm willing to bet he's come up with a few about coronavirus.
Oh, yeah, I reckon Kevin Sheedy's putting together the big bumper book of coronavirus jokes.
Yeah.
It's going to be on bookshelves in time for Father's Day.
Fuck.
None of them will be shared or spread. Ironically, nothing in there will go over.
The GDC got cancelled by the CDC, the Centre for Disease Control.
That's good as
That's
well.
good, yeah. Yep.
Take that, Dad's joke book. Where were you now? Companies started pulling out slowly, little by little. I think Sony was first,
Yeah.
or maybe someone else. There were a couple who did it early on, and then more and more Activision, Blizzard, blah, blah, blah. But companies started pulling out. And at some point, they realized, okay, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Postponed it. Not cancelled, postponed, I should say.
Yeah, right.
It's generally not something where big announcements happen. I believe the thing that it's more useful for is for indie developers to meet and greet, basically.
Right.
That it seems to be the big impact it'll have is like your Annapurnas and whatever. Use things like that to figure out who's who.
Yeah, right. It's a conference. It's not a convention.
Exactly.
Yeah, sure.
It's not a marketing event as much as it is a genuine get together and network.
Yeah, sure.
So, not the biggest loss to like the fucking hamster wheel of gaming news or whatever, but also shitty that that's the reaction that people are either having or having to have as companies. I guess at some point you have some part of your mission statement or employee document or whatever you have if you're a business that says, well, we can't put our employees in harm's way.
Yeah.
So it puts into question how the rest of the year is going to go. People are talking heaps about the Olympics and stuff like that.
Yes.
Around the same time.
I mean, like outside of gaming, there are sporting events that have already happened where they've banned audiences from attending. They've been played in front of 0 people in stadiums, but yeah, there's been no one there.
Right.
Wow.
So this has happened in real life already.
It's
That
very
Bond
crazy.
film got pushed back.
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Because of that.
It was going to be April, and they put out a statement being like, what I guess, like, yeah, that we don't want to encourage people to be in big crowds in public. So we're going to bump it back to November.
Also, it's called No Time to Die, which is a little insensitive.
It's hard to tell how reactionary people are being versus how practical this is.
Well, it's hitting other countries harder than Australia.
Yeah.
In Australia, people are definitely overreacting.
Yes.
All the toilet paper shit. If you're not from here, you might not have heard of it.
I think it's almost getting to be an international joke now, the way that people who are in privileged and safe positions are panic buying toilet paper. It's insane.
I mean, it's nothing to do with actual... that is like some weird mass psychology thing that would be great to fucking read a study about.
It's fascinating.
Or have someone who understands it explain the study to me.
Yeah. Because toilet paper is largely made in Australia. It's not going to be impacted at all.
Well, and we're not going to run out of it. The only reason we're fucking running out of it is because everyone thought we were going to run out of it.
Yeah.
It's the same as the stock market and shit like that, where it's all pretend. Everyone is just going on their gut. And people's guts are so fucking selfish and wrong 90% of the time.
But that's in Australia. In countries like Italy and Iran and South Korea and obviously China, lots of people are dying. And it's like really fucked up.
Yeah. So I guess anything... And look, none of it's important. E3 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So if that does get canned in the future, A, it's not what it was, so who gives a shit? But B, even if it was, it's not important.
Yes.
C, even if it was, we would watch it online anyway.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Nothing. There's no reason to, you know, even if it is an outside risk, to risk anyone's health. So I guess good on them for all recognizing that.
Yeah.
There was a bit of footage from something that the two of you are quite excited for.
Yes. Yeah. Half-Life Alex.
Oh, I thought you meant Tommy's mum's sex tape. Is that a dad's joke book?
Making a joke about his wife?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
No, it specifically says in the joke book, Tommy's mum.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you buy it and you don't know someone called Tommy, you're like,
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah. I don't know where,
just
why I
confusing.
bothered saying that. Doesn't matter.
You know what does matter?
Half-Life Alex. It looks fucking awesome.
It looks great for a VR game. It looks really fluid and like intuitive. I think at least.
Yeah.
We were talking just in our group chat before about like movement and stuff in VR. You were saying, Knox, you think that it can have both like normal fluid joystick movement.
It definitely can.
And the zapping around.
They've shown that in. So they put out 3 videos themselves, and then there's a 4th or a 5th even as well on IGN that are longer.
Right.
One of them has the developers talking over it. But in one of the 3 that they put out, there's the just smooth, regular, what you'd imagine a first-person shooter to be motion.
Yeah.
And a bunch of VR games have done that.
Right.
And made it work
Right.
at this point. So that's cool. And it is my preferred way to play that sort of stuff. I don't like the teleporting thing. That disorients me a lot more than the smooth movement does.
I'm trying to think of what... I've played Robinson, the Journey, was it called?
Yep.
I think that was teleporting.
Okay.
And it was... oh, no, that was just a bad game. But the
Right.
teleporting was fine. I feel like there is
Made
one...
me sick.
Yeah.
On PSVR, there's like Resident Evil 7. I don't know if you ever tried that one. I doubt it from how scary it is. There are a whole bunch of other shooters like that Farpoint one and whatever that Counter-Strike copy was.
What have you played that has had it?
So this is for in the future because I want to talk about a bunch of games at once with this. But I got an Oculus Rift for this game.
Yes.
I'm not going to talk about it heaps now because I haven't really tried it out that much yet.
Right.
But there's stuff in that and it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's great. Because, yeah, my issues mainly with PSVR, which is all I've had, is the low resolution and the issues with, the logic of moving around and the fact that I think it's because the technology is not quite there. There's latency and there's graphics issues. Makes you feel sick, makes you feel discombobulated.
Different
confused.
people have different levels of resistance
Tolerance.
to it. Tolerance,
Yeah.
that's the word.
Yeah, right.
To it. So I don't know if it's something that they do need to work around. Higher frame rates and stuff like that help, but it could be that there is just a biological barrier for some people to how much of this they can handle, which is why they have those different options.
Yeah, sure.
You can do it whichever way you want. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's funny to think about like this being... It's new enough technology that like maybe just people en masse will get used to it and you won't have those discrepancies between how some people view it. Like it's funny to think about, Pong and like some people being like, whoa, what the fuck? Like just not able to handle looking.
How was the signal getting to the TV station in time and then back
Are
here?
you guys dizzy? I'm dizzy. I'm dizzy right now.
But no, I think it's something that they are pretty much there with in terms of like the upper level PC VR stuff.
Yeah.
But the PS4 VR is definitely like a step down. From that.
But so like, movement stuff aside, this game looks awesome.
The interactivity of it looks really fucking cool in the same way that Half-Life 2 was kind of mind-blowing at the time, which was 16 years ago now, nearly.
Right. Because you got gravity gloves.
Yeah.
So you're basically zapping everything into your hands. It all looks like that makes a lot of sense, and that makes the whole game fluid to play.
Yeah.
Which, would be incredible.
There's a game called Boneworks.
Oh, yes,
that
there is.
I like to play when I get the chance.
Yeah, I taught Tommy's mum how to play it.
Oh.
I've seen the trailer.
Happy to step in front of the bus for this one, boys. Seeing how happy it's making the two of you, more than happy to put my mum on the line for the greater good.
Throwing yourself under a bus runs in the family. Wait, no, that wasn't a bus in the video. That was 16 men.
That was a train.
Yeah, it was a train. But yeah, Boneworks has similar stuff where it's a very like high fidelity thing. It barely runs on the computer that I have.
Oh, fuck.
So
Yes.
Half-Life is like one of my favorite series. It's a thing that was very formative for me.
It's your Final Fantasy VII.
It's up there. So I think I'm about to spend a whole fucking bunch of money on playing one game.
Yeah, but also every game after that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a future-proof thing. I reckon I'm probably not going to go in hard on either of the new consoles at any point early on, at least. So this is kind of in place of that.
Yep.
Is how I will justify it.
It makes sense. If you're an Xbox guy, then, you know.
It all kind of transitions over
Yeah.
to some extent. So anyway, it uses similar stuff of like attracting things to your hands and things like that.
Yeah, right.
It works really well and it's really cool.
I guess it makes sense. You got to cut out like any like crouching down or bending over or anything like that.
Well, you
for
can
item collection.
You can kind of do that a bit as well with your body, or in the Boneworks thing, at least with sticks.
Right.
But yes,
right.
completely. You can't really run over to something as readily.
Yeah.
So it's very smart to do it that way.
Yeah.
To have everything be very physical and tangible as well. To reload your gun, you put your hands together like you've got the clip. You can knock stuff off of tables, and it really does, at least in the things that I've played very little of that have similar systems. It's really immersive and it's cool. And to be able to be as creative with it as this game looks like it's going to try and get you to be.
Yeah.
The footage in some of the trailers of like there's some people shooting at you, so you grab a car door and open it and use that as a barrier, as a shield, stuff like that.
I just like the visual design as well. The the colors, the lights, the semi-future, the future tech stuff.
All the sound design of those games being back. I love the sound effects in those games. Yep. The creativity of what they get you to do with the tools that they set you up with.
That was the hallmark. Yeah, that's the right word. That was the hallmark of the Half-Life series. Yeah.
They were super well designed. And with very new ideas at the time.
Yeah.
So having that look like it's about to take place again in this brand new technological way as well is really exciting to me.
Yeah.
And I just am glad that it really seems to be putting them back on that path again of heading towards making a proper sequel.
Yes.
Which this is.
Yeah.
It's a prequel, I guess, to one. It's like in the middle, they're saying it's like a full length thing, and it's just as whatever. But there was some interview they did with one of the people making it, saying like, "So does this mean more in the future?" He was like, "Yeah, probably.
Well, that's
We've really enjoyed making this, and so I think we're back."
I didn't realize it was like a full length. That's cool.
It is a proper big deal.
Great.
So yeah, I'm really excited to play that in like less than 3 weeks.
Fuck, I did not realize it was that soon.
Yeah, the 23rd of March.
I gotta get a fucking Oculus then, I guess.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
If you've got a PC that can run it, and that is the one caveat on it, so the PC that I have is something like, and I'm gonna get this wrong, but it's like an i5 44 something, and I've got a GTX 970 in there. That is what I know that I have.
Right.
I think like 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's low at this point. It's like it was okay. It was pretty good about 5 years ago.
Yeah, right.
So I need to fucking spend a whole patreon.com/filthycasualspod. No, I don't know. This is from like work money, but still, it's probably going to be worth it over the course of years. So
that's a tax deduction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell the tax man, but I bought 7 of them.
So on the day that we're recording this, and also it's going up, the PlayStation 2 turned 20 years old.
I think the day before.
Oh, really? It was yesterday?
Because it's US time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Japan that it was released. It was a Japanese release date. Are they the same date as us, or are they a day before? They're like an hour different, right?
Yeah,
they're
an
the
hour
same
or 2
day.
hours.
So it might be today, it might be yesterday, but whatever it was this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one can argue with that.
No one could say that it didn't take place in the year 2000.
Yes.
Which we are 20 years beyond.
20 years since the PS2. Never owned one. I think I may have rented one a couple of times, which is bygone era.
Yeah.
Heading down to the video store, paying, I can't even remember what, to have it for 3 nights or something. Came in a big suitcase.
Yeah, big metal suitcase.
Yeah, bolted in there.
Like you're buying a sniper rifle.
Yeah. Fucking awesome. Hiring a console was sick.
I never did it.
Really?
Never ever in my entire life.
Yeah,
I had a
once.
PS1 like twice, I think.
Right.
It was fucking cool.
Yeah.
It is the weirdest feeling to have this whole other... Because back then as well, like a new, different console was this unimaginable thing.
Completely.
To some extent.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever saw a PS2. How crazy is that?
That's pretty crazy.
It was at a house... because my parents, including me, were moving at the time, and we were going and looking at houses, doing, what do you call them, inspections?
Yep.
Going in there, inspecting everything, poking around.
Little baby Adam being brought in on the house choosing process.
Back in the year 2000, and one of the houses belonged to a Japanese family who, from Japan, had bought a PS2 before they were even out in Australia.
Yeah, even more exciting than the hiring of something from it. Seeing something that had been brought over and just in the wild.
Getting something from either Japan or from the US.
Yes.
Setting your eyes on that. It looked like, it must have been what it felt like when people came back with like salt that they'd traded for. Salt. Or like, look at this spice.
Yeah.
But it was salt as well. Salt was a fucking extraordinary thing for a while there.
Okay.
It drove economies.
Okay.
I am led to believe from the book I've read the summary of. Had read to me by Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting.
Great.
I don't remember if that's what he talks about, but whatever. It feels fucking crazy. And I remember seeing this PS2 in this family's house. They went home. It was just a real estate agent showing us around their house.
Yeah.
And the whole time that my parents were looking around this house that we didn't end up getting, I just was looking at this PS2 and I wasn't allowed to touch it.
No,
I
of
knew
course
that.
not, yeah.
It's a different family.
Yep.
And
So
are
I
you
remember
reading,
walking around this TV cabinet, getting it from every angle,
great.
trying to take it in like like I was Inspector Gorin in CSI or whatever he was in.
Are you familiar? Like, are you reading video game magazines and stuff at this point? So you immediately on site.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, okay.
Because there's been like a year at least of hype of this thing. This thing was so built up at the time. The PS2.
That's great if you didn't know of its existence at all. And you're like, what the fuck is that? And then just walking over and seeing the 2 on it. That's an incredible story.
That
You're
would've been
discovering about its existence in this house.
You walk over and it says PS and you like blow the dust off like Indiana Jones. Wait a minute.
I also like the idea that you then are lobbying really hard for your parents to get this house because you think that it's just like contents as well.
Yeah.
Like you think that the
yeah.
PS2 comes included with the purchase of the house.
I really think I was a dumb kid. I didn't do either of those things. But,
Sorry, go back to telling us about how you were shuffling around the TV cabinet.
I wasn't shuffling.
Getting a good look at it.
I was taking confident stride after confident stride to get a full 360 view of this thing.
Right.
And
like
your
a dad's
parents
Not
like-
knowing that the 360 is something I would view many years later.
And are your parents like, Adam, come get a look at the room that would be your bedroom,
Yeah.
and you're just
I don't
no
care
interest.
about bed. I'm never sleeping again after this thing shows up. I want to play Fantavision.
And did you end up getting one when they came out?
No,
Yeah.
not for many.
Did you have one, Ben?
No.
Yeah, right.
No, I was
Interesting.
PlayStation 1 and then PlayStation 3.
The PlayStation 3 was the first one that I went in on.
I had one at some point, and it was really cool.
Right.
That thing was great. It had had the biggest library out of those 3 that were the big ones at the time.
And people do point to it as like, if you were a kid or a gamer at the time, it had the best library of games.
It did.
Yeah.
DVD
There were
player as well.
Yeah.
Smart by them.
several
And
things
that-
on
yeah.
there that I was kind of jealous of not getting until way later.
Yeah.
Because I ended up very happily getting an Xbox, which was great as well. Most things went to all of them.
Right.
But the PS2 had a few really big ones. It had Metal Gear Solid 3, I think, was the thing that eventually I was like, fuck.
Right.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Because 2 did come to the Xbox as well. Final Fantasy X was big for a lot of people. It's fine.
Yep.
What else was big on the PS2? Do you have any memories of games you've played since?
I don't think I've ever gone back
You guys
in.
give a fucking shit about the PS2. This is the biggest selling console of all time.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. See
No,
you
let
at
me-
30, cunt.
Let me look it up.
I can talk about a game that was out on the PS2 that I've just started playing.
Really?
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've played the first 2 hours.
Right.
I'm fucking loving it.
You've done so. If you finish the first bit, the tanker.
I'm on the tanker.
Okay.
I'm mucking around. I don't really get
How
the
much do
controls.
you know about Metal Gear Solid 2?
No, nothing.
Sick.
Yeah.
Let's keep it that way, and I want you to report back
Okay.
once you finish this.
All right. Yeah, cool.
'Cause-
I am enjoying it a lot. I like because I played 1.
Yeah.
And so all of that stuff from that, like the little, and like all the stuff, the interface, I don't get the controls. I think I've just got to put my mindset back into PS2 days.
Sure.
But like the aesthetic.
What is confusing you about
like
them?
aiming the gun and stuff? It's like
Right.
how do I tell where he's aiming?
There's a little laser on it, isn't there? There's a little laser.
It's so
pointer.
imprecise though. I guess I just got to go like,
Well, the first
I'm in a
person view
corridor.
as well. You don't really. Do you use that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it doesn't really. Weirdly, it's like it fast forwarded through all the controls at the start. I don't know
Right.
if that's like a bad porting thing.
Did it actually?
Yeah, like it went really quickly through everything.
Like, as in they described it in voice,
Quickly.
but as in like,
Yeah.
or just actually speaking fully? Because did you skip it? Is what I'm getting at.
No, I wasn't skipping it. I just sort of let it all play out. Like, because it's like a
Because you'll get the
cutscene
thing
for half
of
an hour.
Otacon or whatever going like, press the R2 button and this will happen. It'll open your item menu.
Yeah, that all was just like going without me touching it, just going really, really fast.
Okay, I think you might have skipped through that then. But like, how
Yeah.
fast are you talking? Human speech
Like too fast. Like too fast for me to follow.
But as in, someone was speaking at a regular speed and you didn't follow it, or it was zipping through it.
It was zipping through it. Like windows were going boop and closing again. Like
Oh well, yeah.
like someone had hit
you
fast
can
forward.
skip through a codec thing. I think you might have skipped through it.
Yeah, right. I didn't mean to.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah, so
that's why. Look it up on the internet.
Yeah, well, I'll have to. But yeah, so
X is to crouch.
the start is mostly cutscene.
Yeah.
which is classic Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, it's cool. I'm into it.
Guess what? The rest is mostly cutscene too.
Okay,
But it's
All right.
sick. That game
Yeah.
is really weird and really cool. It gets really weird
right.
in a cool way.
I'm looking forward to it.
In a cool way in retrospect, possibly. So I'm interested to see what you think about it as you go through it. But that was a huge one at the time.
Right.
All the Grand Theft Autos came out on there first.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. San Andreas. Maybe I think a friend had it a PS2 and I would go over and play San Andreas actually. But I had that on PC, so I kind of didn't remember not having it.
Right, they did. Well, that's the thing. A lot of PS2 games and things that were exclusive to there now are so accessible and everything else.
Yeah.
Currently, but it was the God of War games. It was a huge deal at the time, and if you wanted to be across, it was the equivalent of the PS4 now. If you wanted to get the
Right.
majority of games that were out in an accessible way, it was your boy. Happy birthday, PS2.
Happy birthday,
Happy
PS2.
birthday.
Well, going back to
That's the fucking nerdiest thing I've ever said. There's a video of Usher saying, "Happy birthday, Xbox." And it's really... No, he says, "Happy Easter, Xbox."
even better.
It was
Yeah,
just
that's
something
better.
where someone clearly, like a marketing guy, came up and said, "Can you just say Happy Easter, Xbox?" He was like, "What? Okay. Happy Easter, Xbox." Why did I have to...
Great.
It's sick.
Well, going back to the PS1 and a landmark game on that console,
Yes.
Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
It's a bit old, a bit long in the tooth now, though. Surely someone's going to do it up.
Yes, and when you say long, are you saying you'd like it to be broken up into installments?
Well, it covered 3 discs back on the PS1, so like I think that was part of the appeal of it, is that it was
Yeah.
such an epic adventure.
Yeah, it was a long, sort of, huge, sprawling story with many different chapters and
Exactly.
evolutions throughout it.
But as you went through this long adventure, you had a satisfying conclusion at the end.
Yeah, you did. You certainly did.
Real big part of it.
Yeah, you played it for 60 hours, and at the end, you had a resolution.
Exactly. Keep it going. Yeah, the remake, the demo of the remake went up on the same day that the remake was meant to be released.
Oh,
Final Fantasy VII.
wow.
Yeah, right.
But they delayed it by like a month, and they put up the demo on that day.
Yes.
So we've all played through it.
yeah.
Oh, you played it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, finished it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
only about half an hour, maybe something like that, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Pretty brief. It's weird when you go into a demo and you're like, what am I on the hook for here?
Yeah. You go through the first, if you've played the original, it's up until you escape from blowing up that first reactor.
Yeah.
Which is literally, it's the first half hour of the original game
Yeah,
as well.
it is. Yeah.
This one moves at the same pace, roughly, that the original Final Fantasy VII moved.
Do you think so? I thought it was a little quicker. I thought
This was quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
Yeah.
You're moving faster and there's more action and stuff going on.
Yeah.
And you're not on static screens and stuff. Like the
Yeah.
climbing
Yeah.
around stuff feels a lot more fluid because you're watching it in a...
But it's the same
3D.
exact beats
It is,
as
yes.
that
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
Which
They cut out a couple of corridors and a couple of battles, I think.
stuff's been changed up and it's been modernized. We'll get to, but
Yeah.
just in terms of my biggest bit of trepidation with this game is that it won't be substantive. Is that a word? Hell yeah. I've used it right even, I think.
Yeah, you have. Oh, it depends what you mean by it.
I mean, good. The brevity of this and what it implies about what the full thing will be if it covers the amount of time that it's set to cover. Even if there's side quests, even if there's a little bit of extra stuff here and there, doesn't put away any of my fears about this not being a full product.
I feel the same way. I'm pretty sure where I'm up to in playing the original is what the remake is.
Yeah,
the entirety of the remake.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I definitely have that concern as well. I don't think it's gonna. I think the quality will all still be there, but yeah, that's my big query. Is like, is this taking the piss?
Yeah. Setting all that aside, what they're doing with this remake is really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's great. It looks fantastic. Yeah. I like the obviously the music has already been composed and it was composed by, one of the best composers of video game music of all time, and they've changed it slightly. And I think I like the way they've changed it. They've modernized it, they've orchestrated it. It's cool. It's
clever. The way that they have the battle themes kind of just flow in from the overworld music rather than being a distinct separate thing works really, really well.
Yeah.
It feels very orchestrated and live in a way that is very different to the original. Because the original, the way that the instrumentation on the PS1 worked, it was very in your face and sounded very arcadey kind of.
Yes.
And this is a lot more sweeping and fades into the background a lot more easily. So you don't quite pick out the really, really good tunes that it has and the melodies.
But if you know them, you recognize them, which is cool.
That's the weird thing. I was kind of getting nostalgic for something that I played 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy to be humming along to a new game.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is on the level it appears of like a Resident Evil 2 or whatever, that type of remake where it is a proper full, hey, we had the same 60-page document that outlined the game as the original creators had, but here's our take on it.
Yeah.
Well, I looked it up, and it's a lot of the same people who worked on the original are back doing this.
Right.
The lead director is a producer on this. The character designer came back to kind of update the models and everything.
Cloud Strife is in it again.
Yes,
he's back.
He's back.
They got Barrett.
And someone else, like three big dogs from the original team are back, which I thought was really interesting. I loved it. I really, really loved it.
Me too.
My big concern going in was that I didn't really gel with the combat in Final Fantasy 15. I certainly didn't gel with it in Kingdom Hearts. So knowing that this was going into that real-time kind of style, I was like, oh no, I think I'm going to hate it. I really thought I was going to have a hard time with it. And I loved it. I didn't find it... I don't know what it was. I don't know what the difference is, but I didn't find it too overly... Those two other ones I just found very imprecise, and I didn't really feel like I was in control, but you totally feel like it's so different with this.
Well, it is. It's mechanically different. I don't know what I remembered those two games' combat systems to be exactly, but I did a bit of reading and I was reminded they would just hold down a button and your character would automatically attack over and over and over again.
And you could choose some attacks and you could choose... I think the biggest difference as well, more than that, is that other people's attacks are action game style, pointed in a direction, are avoidable and you need to watch for them.
Totally.
And same with your attacks.
Yes.
Or the basic ones at least. Is that it has a lot more physicality to it than Final Fantasy 15 especially, which felt very like you and the enemies are in this one area floating around each other.
Exactly, because I think you held down a button to dodge in Final Fantasy 15 as well, where
and
this is
they would just ghost through you kind of.
Exactly. It's more closer to a modern hack and slash dodge roll action melee game.
It's a really good middle ground.
Because you also
figured out this combat.
You have the little pause battle, choose item, choose ability, choose spell thing, which is I think a really, really elegant way of integrating the old active time battle, turn-based system.
Because that was my problem with those other games as well, is that as soon as even if you do sort of get your head around the real-time stuff, then having to fuck around and look down on the bottom of the screen and get into a menu to bring up this other stuff just felt so clumsy.
Yes.
And it works here. It feels like a nice, new, fresh thing, like this bridging of like, oh, cool, you can, slow down time and cast a spell. Like, you don't feel like, frequently in 15 and in Kingdom Hearts, I was like, I don't really have time to look at the menu and do the spells because it's too much other stuff going
And
on.
are they really benefiting the combat
Totally.
anyway? Shouldn't I just hold down attack?
This feels a lot more demanding.
Yeah, a bit of strategy
more
involved.
difficult than those ones, but in a really good. The combat was very engaging and very fun.
I think because they create that clear distinction. It's like, yeah, here is real-time melee combat, and yeah, we'll just let you pause the game and choose from your items. Like, we're not going to try and awkwardly mesh them together into some like quasi real-time thing.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And when you so you're switching between characters when you have multiple people in your party. You're only ever directly controlling one person.
Yes.
Then you can kind of switch over to the other and do a specific attack or hold a button down and then order the other person to like cast a spell or whatever.
Right.
It all works super well.
Yeah.
You've still got to think about timing because it takes you a bit of time to use an item or to cast a spell or whatever.
Yep.
You got to think about positioning and all the stuff you would think about in like an action game.
Yeah.
Combined with the basics of what made that Final Fantasy VII combat fun.
Right.
It works really, really well. It's super clever and it feels good.
It does. It's fun. It's fun
Yeah.
to play, which obviously is the most important thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15, as much as I really did like that game, the combat was satisfying in a way of just watching your people destroy these enemies.
Yeah.
But this is actually engaging.
Yes.
And I was super surprised by how much I enjoyed playing
Same.
this game.
Yeah. I thought, it goes without saying because everyone's seen the trailers and everything. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
The cinematic nature of it. Even I was thinking about you a lot, Ben, and how rock hard your little red rocket must have been. Just like the beginning, the big pan up and seeing the like fully realized version of this like very complex world that was still conveyed very nicely in the original, but just seeing this fleshed out and actually having massive scale to it and everything was just so cool.
It's incredible. It's like the old one you were looking at with blurry vision, and this one you put on a pair of glasses and you're like, oh, I can see everything
and
now.
then suddenly your vision goes blurry again because the depth of field stuff is a little strong.
Right.
That was my one problem with the visuals, is that someone's like half the time people's faces are blurry.
Right.
They're doing a strong focus effect.
Right.
Which I didn't really like. And if they put all the, extra, if it really does play out that like, hey, we've massively expanded on this part, here's a full game's worth, we'll have sort of an ending of a part 1, and definitely chapter 2 and 3 and whatever will happen, then fine.
Yeah,
Sure,
I don't know. I mean, it's
I just
still...
don't trust them
I
with
just
that.
can see myself was really hooked into this.
Yeah.
And that I just kept thinking that of like, this is going to piss me off that I get to the end of this and then have to wait who knows how long.
Or who knows if ever. Because Square have cancelled DLCs they promised for Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
They've
that's
cancelled many
true.
games before. They've had the games that they have put out struggle in this like long development cycle.
And especially for someone who hasn't finished the original, the idea of playing through this remade version that looks so good of the bit I'm up to, and then having to wait and feel like, all right, well, I guess I'll just go back to the original and pick up from where I am now, but still thinking in the back of my head like, I wish this was the... You know what I mean?
Sure. That's
Like-
the issue with remakes all the time, though, is like you can't get the full experience of someone who played the original back in the day.
No, but I mean more if I like just don't have access to the
Yeah.
second part of it, of the remade version.
Yeah, but it's just... It's
Who
an
knows?
element that you've got to consider with this remake, I guess.
Yeah. So how long... an Uncharted, say an Uncharted 4,
Yeah.
that was like, what, 16 hours? 16,
12-ish, something like that.
That is a long game
Yeah.
for me. Like, that kind of commitment to one single
Same.
player game is like, this feels like it's... Like, it took me a few weeks to finish, and I played it
Okay.
every night. This, apparently, people are estimating this first section of this remake to be 20 to 40 hours long.
Well, the thing that they've said is the length of a mainline Final Fantasy game,
Right.
which for me has typically been around 35-ish hours.
That's
a lot.
fucking long.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's so long.
but it wouldn't. I don't think it would feel like that journey if it's contained within what I perceive as a 5-hour section.
Right.
I wonder if that will just make it seem small, or if that's me putting something on the game that I shouldn't because it's not what's contained. We'll have to wait and see with that.
Yeah,
This is just a
there's
demo.
no way of knowing.
Yeah.
But the demo is very promising, and I'm in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
play this
fucking
either
great
way.
time with it. I was like interested for the purposes of this and everything, but it's gone from just like, oh yeah, I guess I'll pick that up to like, I'm pumped now.
Yeah.
Day
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The
Really
voice
keen to go
acting
in.
is weird.
Yes,
well, the
that's-
voice acting
yeah.
isn't terrible, I don't think. You hated it.
Right, so I really hated it. I found all of them very bad. I found Barrett to be a pretty embarrassing stereotype of a quote unquote black person's voice.
Right.
Like I don't know why it's so over the top.
He is being performed in the way that original Final Fantasy VII Barrett was written.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
I think, I guess that's deliberate. Like they're
I don't know if the
feeling like they've got to
acting-
honor the source material or whatever.
It's not the acting so much, I don't think, because if you close your eyes, it's not that bad.
Right.
But the characters are doing these big over-the-top gestures and movement and shit, and it's all very anime kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And I think it's just that, and unless you put yourself in the mindset of it, it's a different thing to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is an exaggerated, over-the-top, cartoonish version of human behavior.
Yeah.
That doesn't play well as here's this realistic Final Fantasy VII. It's not that.
Well, because it's almost like I think Uncharted is the best comparison, at least for me, because this is like a very cinematic, single-player, linear narrative game with some fun, melee combat, fucking around, and characters that are realistically drawn to an extent,
Yeah.
And then I think because something like Uncharted or The Last of Us or even God of War, honestly, they act more like characters in a movie.
But those are all Western things.
Yes,
I
they
think
are.
that is the difference that you're seeing there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that is the difference in the acting.
This is not an issue I had with Persona 5, but
No.
that's because it clearly signposts, hey, this is an anime, basically.
Yeah. I think this is also an anime, basically. And if I think that it is a trait of that type of production, that if you approach it from the idea of naturalistic acting, especially in the movements of the characters, being what you expect, often there's a disconnect there.
I tell you
that
what.
was my impression of what happened after playing it after you'd said the acting.
Yeah,
Because I was playing it,
right.
I was in the middle of playing it as you messaged that, and it was interesting to read because it hadn't registered to me one way or the other. I wasn't thinking, oh, this is brilliant acting, but I wasn't. But yeah, seeing that you were so off put by it, and I think, I expected it to be camp and over the top. Like I wasn't thinking that it was going to be because because the game is quite over the top.
Sure.
And even though it is, the character models are realistic, their proportions are all fucking weird. Like,
The size of that
Cloud's,
fucking sword. It's so big.
Cloud's body shape is, Barrett's very over the top. Like
they have
it's-
some baggage with Final Fantasy VII in particular, of going in the other direction with it at a certain point.
Yeah.
Where they went pretty like, everything's dreary and I'm sad. And this isn't that, which I'm glad of. Or it's not as close to that. It is closer to the tone of the original.
Completely.
I think it's working well enough. I wouldn't put it on the Japanese myself just because there's enough dialogue in the combat and stuff that I wouldn't have time to read.
So yeah, all that being so silly and over the top and goofily acted in the context of combat, where Barrett's yelling stuff at you, I was like, I'm into this.
Yeah.
Right.
Like his read on that kind of stuff in that context, I was like, yeah, this is a pretty dodgy stereotype kind of performance, but I'm not. I was not hating it. Just for whatever reason, it just in that context, it just worked for me. And
I think this one, compared even to the original, Barrett is less of that stereotype thing in this, I think, and more of like, he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
He's performing like a wrestler.
Yeah.
He's doing big
right.
points, and he's doing huge shouts when he doesn't need to.
He's doing huge shouts.
He's a wrestler. And the only issue I had with the voice acting is that Wedge is voiced by Badger from Breaking Bad.
yes, I thought that was him.
Yes.
And that really was like, what the fuck? I don't know
Strange.
why. That guy's got such a recognizable voice.
Really
Yeah.
does, yeah.
The bit where they're in the elevator and Barrett just starts
the one
going
bit.
off, I was like, all right, this is This guy is really chewing up some scenery.
That was
here,
the one
Yeah.
bit for me too. But the second I was like, oh, he's a wrestler. I was like, okay, cool, I'm back in.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Maybe I got to reframe my perception.
And we need 35 hours of it. Like this is
Yeah.
obviously a demo, but it has me hooked in to see out what they've made here.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can see out the entire thing.
The issue now is if there's not enough of a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair
I,
enough.
Yeah.
I wonder if it will be complete by. I would be very surprised if it were to be complete that it would be done before the PS5 is about to be done with. So like before there's a
okay.
PS6 on the horizon, kind of
Right.
length of time. Given how long this one took,
Yeah.
if they can churn the next couple out in the next couple of years,
Maybe they've perfected the formula.
Yeah,
They
maybe
did.
maybe a big part of it was just working out the engine and
also
all of
Marco.
that.
Marco?
I always read it as Mako.
Yes.
Me too.
That
Mako,
really threw me off.
Yeah,
I don't like Marco.
Because there's Mako sharks. They're a real
Yeah.
thing in real life, and it's spelt the same, I believe.
Yeah, Mako Polo. But like them saying Marco really bothered me.
Yeah.
And I think they've gone with Aerith,
Ah, right.
which it was Eris
Yeah.
originally in the
Yep.
West, or at least in Europe.
In the West.
European regions. It sounds like a lisp to me.
Yeah.
I don't like Aerith.
The one thing that gives me some sort of justification for thinking that this can be turned around quickly
Right.
is they fired the entire development team about a year and a half ago.
Oh, really?
And started again.
I've forgotten that.
So maybe we're talking maybe a couple of years in between.
I'd love for this to be a once-a-year thing, episodic for the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
few years. See it out. This seems really promising. I really like the combat. It's the best iteration of this type of thing that they've done so far.
Yeah.
I'm in their corner for it, and I really hope. I think this one will be fun for what it is.
Right.
I don't think even if it's great, it will be a satisfying thing unless
Right.
it's fully completed.
It's hard when you know it's even not knowing how the full game ends, and so not knowing that I'm missing out on that. Just
yeah,
knowing
yeah.
that it's like you're cut off a third. Like just something about that feels, even if it's satisfying in its own right, just knowing that you're not getting the full story of something. If it existed by itself and there was like a little dummy ending on there, but you're
Right.
none the wiser,
Yeah.
then I'm sure that's fine.
But it's probably going to give the feeling of, like, at the end of this demo, it says, which version would you like to purchase? And it will probably feel a bit like that for them to say, part 2 coming up later.
Right.
Come back and
Yeah.
buy some more. I don't know. They can't, with the scope that they are saying that this is, cool, great. Do a full remake, do it properly. This sounds really cool. Explore that city more. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, we'll see.
the other thing is, how are they going? Have they said how they're going to roll? Is this being sold as?
They've said nothing. This is just called
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're
yes.
not being
So-
dishonest about the fact that it is not the full thing.
I know, but yeah. So when that's the
But they've
big
been
question I had
completely
when I was
cagey.
playing it, and when I
Yeah.
looked it up, I thought, oh, this must be. Is it branded as Chapter 1 or whatever? So then, what happens is the next bit sold as Chapter, Final Fantasy Remake Part 2,
I
or
assume so, yeah.
are you getting it as? Is it just a DLC option? Like that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, it'll be a
is
PS5 game.
Yeah,
So it won't be
yeah.
DLC. 'Cause
Yeah.
It'll be on a whole new console.
True.
with a.
They should call it Disc 2.
That'd be fun.
That'd actually be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and this is dumb, but it bothers me that it'll be a PS4 game and then like 2 PS5 games to be the one remake.
Well, what
some
they'll
reason they
re-release it.
they'll re-release
That
part
sucks
1
as well.
They'll re-release part 1 for sure.
But yeah, they've said absolutely nothing about their plans for the rest of it.
Yeah, right.
I
Which-
wonder if they've pushed it back a month so they can be like, oh, by the way, part 2, here is the information.
Right, 8th of October. Like,
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
yeah.
Do a Matrix Reloaded thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? That won't happen. But
But even if you know when you start playing this first one,
Yeah.
the release date of the next one, that's got to help.
and even if it ends up just being remake of first 5 hours of Final Fantasy VII and that's all we ever get, this seems cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be fun at least. Yeah.
I had a blast with this.
Yeah.
Just everything about it.
Yeah.
The cinematic nature of it too. I was hooked in.
the aesthetic, that sort of weird mix of cyberpunk and that sort of fantasy, curvy sort of architecture stuff, translated to high definition, is fucking sick.
Yeah.
It looks so great.
Yeah. Well, do we want to talk any more about stuff we've been playing during the week, or do you want to save that for next week?
I'll say that I've been playing the Turing test. I'm halfway through it roughly, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And if you have Game Pass, I recommend going in. But I haven't finished it yet, so maybe I'll sort of wrap it up when I've actually finished it.
Just through the actual Turing test.
Turns out
I'm 2/3 of the way, I believe, according to you guys, through an old game that I'll talk about next week instead.
Yeah, sweet.
'Cause we've done a little while here.
I'll add my thumbs up recommendation to 2 Point Hospital.
Oh,
really, really fun. I've been playing a little bit of it. It is exactly the same as Theme Hospital, but it looks nicer. So if you ever played that, this is worth it.
I got sucked in again last night.
Nice.
Just a good couple of hours.
You played Minute as well, right?
Yeah, hated it.
Me too. Yeah,
hated it.
Really hated it.
Yeah.
Really didn't like it. Fuck you, Tommy.
I liked it, but then I never went back to it, so maybe I wasn't
fuck
liking it
that
as much
game.
as I thought.
I thought it sucked. Slay the Spire, I've gone in on as well. Don't really get why people rated this as their #1 game of the year when it came out.
Games?
Sure, but
I bet the people who loved it, if you said, do you like card games, would be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, if you were a Magic the Gathering fan, you would probably love this game.
I've gone back in really heavily on Breath of the Wild, and it's still one of the best games ever made.
Yep.
It's crazy. I'm getting all them little cunts, all them little Koriks.
Did you
I'm all over
start a new save or? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I'm
nice.
just fresh.
Oh, big boy.
It feels good.
On the Switch this time?
Switch Lite, baby.
Okay, great. Nice. All right, let's wrap it up for another week. Filthycasuals.com.au for the links to our social media stuff, as well as links to our premium episodes that we do on Bandcamp. The Patreon, you can subscribe and support the show and get an extra episode every week. Very much appreciated by us, everyone who chips in and helps support the show. That's all there is to say. Oh, we got the Let's Plays up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Yeah.
Come see me at Comedy Festival if you're in Melbourne. Thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next week. And as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals,
just press cross and it'll take you to the store page where you can buy the full version of Filthy Casuals. I know it's a demo, but still felt weirdly gross.